And I say that this has been some of the best Bleach chapters I've seen in a long time in terms of action and consistency, because of the fact that it was all based around one of my favorite captains, Kenpachi motivating Jiraiya. And as you can see, I have Nazarashi with me. Nozarashi, however you want to pronounce it. It's me, Captain Vazage, with live action. You already know what it is. I'm here back to give you my thoughts on the Bleach chapters, from Bleach chapter 666 all the way up to Bleach chapter 669. Thank God that most of the chapters just focused on the same fight, you know? But the overall thing with Kenpachi was up my alley. I know it was something that a lot of you never expected. However, let's take it back. Let's take it back to the one thing I said with Bleach chapter 665 when I did that review. I remember stating that asking Nakalavar, he better be dead. He better be. But I love the way they show my boy Grimmjow. The way he had his heart, he just threw it on the ground. And I like how Kubo put that in there when he told him, like, you know what, when Grimmjow told asking Nakalavar, like, you've been skewered and your heart has been removed, like, you are one tough son of a bitch because you are still talking. And again, I couldn't help but to think about Tsukishima and Tekken 101, how it just really bothered Tekken 101 that Tsukishima was still, you know, alive and talking for that small period of time. Speaking of which, since I haven't done any reviews in a while, I haven't watched anybody else's review. You know, I have this policy, I don't watch other people's reviews until after I do my own, so I don't even know what other people's reactions are to this whole Kenpachi thing. But anyway, this overall chapter, I love the fact that Urahara, he uses his head. I really like that. Like, he preps and get ready for any type of scenario, or damn near almost all type of scenarios. I mean, how he thought about the overall fact that, okay, when these are Bankai, or, you know, these Espada going to the resurrection, they Ryatsu, which is completely hollow, which is very effective against the Quincy, so he probably put the two and two together. And I really did want to see that. I always really want to see a true Espada take on a Quincy. Now, you can say Halabel with the take on Juha, but that was no contest at all. You know, to me, I know it said in the data book Eisen, he ranked them off of their amount of Ryatsu, but it seemed like Halabel, she hasn't done anything in the series. Like, she hasn't won a victory. So there's no surprise that she got that ass whooped, especially by Juha. But anyway, with Grimmjow doing what he did to Ask Nakalavar, I loved it. But of course, Ask Nakalavar, upon his death, you know, the amount of poison, the magnitude of it, it just increases and intensifies. And you see it really affect Urahara and Grimmjow. And we see it look like they were getting ready to die. And notice, he apologized, and his last words were, of course, Ichigo Kurosaki. You know, you can't forget him. But we see Nail. Now we see she's relevant now. It looks like apparently she's going to save Grimmjow and Urahara. But now that that's over, I still do hope to see more of Grimmjow. It's good that he came back. Then he got dropped by Ask Nakalavar. Then he came back again to redeem what happened to him. But still, I hope we see more. It seemed like he got a little bit stronger. Seeing as how he was able to pierce Ask Nakalavar. Maybe that's just due to the fact that he's in a Rancor, you know. But on to this Kenpachi thing. First thing first, both of my captains came back in the chapter after that. We got Yachiru and Kenpachi. And I knew this. I said previous reviews ago, that Toshiro taking on the Miracle. Come on. I knew something was going to have to give. I didn't think it was going to be this. I thought Byakuya was just down and out. I really did. You know, I gave my thoughts on where the Fullbringers are going to show up with Ganju and Chad. I still think that's going to happen. We see Uryu, he's occupied with fighting Hashwa. Or Hime and Ichigo, they're making their way up to Juha. So I'm thinking, who else is going to interfere and help Toshiro? So we see Byakuya comes back. I'm like, yes, I knew he wasn't just really down and out. You know, that's why he's my boy. But when we see Kenpachi come into the mix, you see his whole entire arm, the Miracle, his whole entire arm just got chopped off by Kenpachi. The reason why I was surprised, I was glad, but I was surprised. We see what happened with him when him and Ryuri were fighting Star Knight. See the composure. We see what happened with that. And I really did think this was the perfect setup. Like, it was just, of course, scripted writing to where after a very effective character wins a battle or does what he does in battle, he's handicapped or crippled to where he just can't be in any other future battles. Because we always say in this war, and then now even showed it and said it, after you take out this one opponent, and let's go to the next one. After that, and let's go to the next one. So I remember saying, imagine Kenpachi dropping one component. Keep in mind, he loves to fight. So he drops one component and says, hey, let me go to the next fight. Let me go to the next. Let me go to the... He's just mowing down motivators. But no, Kubo had to cripple him. And he had to get put in that little healing capsule. But we see, I guess he healed just like that. Or he just got out of it and said, hey, whatever, this is enough. I can still walk now. And this guy, he's back on his feet. And I said, this makes perfect sense now. Having these three take on the miracle. However, Toshiro, it seems like he was just, could be for a distraction. But you gotta look at the good trio. You have the, the trio, the Trinity. You have the brains, the skill, and the power. The brains of that being Toshiro, the skill of that being Byakuya, and the power, of course, being Kenpachi Zaraki. However, with this, I like the fact that Toshiro used his brains. He told Kenpachi, he kept trying to interfere by telling Kenpachi that, look, don't chop off any more of his limbs and body parts, because as you can see, it grows back, and it grows back bigger and stronger. At that point, you just keep chopping them off, it's just going to fall over the war wheel and just crush Soul Society or severely damage the Serite. And it made perfect sense, but Kenpachi, he doesn't care. And we see Star Knight, M, and Kenpachi, the way they're just exchanging words, going back and forth. It seemed like there's just a perfect match made to fight each other, like Toshiro was saying. But the overall thing, I was thinking to myself, so after these three defeat Star Knight M, then are they going to go and help Uryu with Hashwath? Or they're going to go and team up with Ichigo? Or it was just, we're not going to see them for a long time, and then it's going to cut to the battle of Uryu and Hashwath, then that's over. Uryu being crippled. Or maybe he's going to just make his way up towards Ichigo and them. And during that fight, it's going to look like all hope is lost. And then here comes the rest of the crew. But I mean the rest of the crew, I'm talking Kenpachi, Byakuya, and Toshiro. But that did not happen. We see, he was so caught up in battle, which was crazy, he didn't even realize his eye patch was off. He ended up going Shikai, and I love that picture when he activates his Shikai to Nozarashi. I love it. I'm gonna hunt down that picture in color, making my new desktop background, I swear. But the thing is, I like how Byakuya, that they reacted, Byakuya and Toshiro reacted off of seeing his Zanpakuto release for the first time. They said drink Nozarashi. And I do like that when things are, extra little details are put into that in the series. How you see other characters react to a never before seen technique or ability or transformation. I do like that. And Byakuya did say like, damn, I guess we were all just wrong, thinking that this was his Zanpakuto and his Shikai just constantly released. Like, I guess we were wrong. I guess this was his sealed Zanpakuto. But the big shocker of it all was when, I mean, he was holding his ground against Star Knight M, and I was very impressed. I mean, he stopped his foot, he toppled him over. Things were just looking very, very good. It was just non-stop action. I was loving it. I was off of a Bleach high, because it's not so much of what you want, it's not so much of who you want to see in the chapter, it's also how you want it to be done. And I like action, consistent action in Bleach chapter, excuse me. Like the whole fact that it stayed within this fight. It didn't jump. Now, yes, Bleach chapter 666. Yes, I know that whole legendary number 666. It left off. I mean, it picked up where the Bleach 665 left off with Urahara and Grimmjow, but yet it went on to Kenpachi, Byakuya, and Toshiro, and it stayed that way throughout the whole thing. That's what I loved. It stayed on with those fights. I mean, with that main fight. But the one thing I was really trying to wrap my brain around was the Bankai release. Oh my god, the Bankai release of Kenpachi Zaraki. when it seemed like all hope was lost, when he was down and out, when he had got severely damaged because of the miracle ability, I'm like, wait a minute. You see Yachiru. And I'm thinking, like, as soon as I seen her, I swear, as soon as I seen her, I'm like, wait a minute. She just so happens to show up. I'm thinking, I know she's not going to be no help at all. And when she said, if you would have used me properly, there's no one you could cut down. Like, this is that ability that they all call Bankai. And you see, she touches his hand, and then you see the spirit energy, and I'm thinking, I was just like, wait a minute. Now, of course, this has been a theory going around for years in Bleach. For years. However, some people, I'm willing to bet, are still confused and or debating if she is the spirit. Like, if that's Kenpachi Zanpakuto. Now, you have to take a lot of things into consideration. Number one, he was able to release his Shikai. Drink Nozarashi. So was Yachiru out of his Zanpakuto? Or was the spirit form in the physical manifestation watching? Or once he died, once he got laid out, then she manifested? Is that what happened? I mean, we know Kubo, he has put 4 levels of secrets throughout Bleach. And I'm going to tell you right now that some people never knew that. There's a lot of people who read Bleach, who are just casual readers or casual fans. They haven't read any interviews of Kubo. Some don't even know about the great 4 levels of secrets. Some don't know. So he's writing a story keeping these secrets. So to the average reader, they're looking like, oh, this is sloppy writing. Like what Shokyo said. He said it's sloppy writing, even though he's going off the anime, including fillers. And it's like, people are looking at it as inconsistency, loopholes, this and that, but it's the secrets that he's leaving out. So imagine if he rewrote Bleach, or think of Bleach as you know it now without any of the secrets. He's put everything out there. Now, I don't know which one would you find more fun. The secrets, to open up more fan theories and guessings and forums and things like that. But, I mean, guesses, my damn list. And, you know, with that, it really made sense. If you agree that she is his Zanpakuto. Let's look back at the things. Yachiru. Okay. She was never affected by spiritual pressure, by Kenpachi's. You see when Ichigo and Kenpachi had that draw during the Soul Society arc, she picked up Kenpachi over her shoulder. This is dead weight of Kenpachi. She jumped in between those buildings all the way up. You see when the messenger kept interrupting her, she turned around and gave away this massive amount of spiritual pressure. And you seen the whole symbolic pink demonic cat looking picture face. What else? The other thing. Now, back when Kenpachi, let's all connect this to Nozarashi, of course. Back when Kenpachi was a little kid, of course, he grabbed the Zanpakuto off of Shinigami. This was just a regular Zanpakuto. Didn't even have a name. Of course, Kenpachi, being very strong at a young age up to now, he was able to imprint his blueprint onto the Asuchi, you know, and bam, there is, you have the Nozarashi. And the whole time Soul Society, including himself, thought this was his sealed Zanpakuto. But now it makes sense. Even your sealed Zanpakuto can have his own signature, distinct look from everyone else. Look at look at the other Zanpakutos. I mean, look at Byaku's sealed Zanpakuto. Then look at Mayuri's. Look at Toshiro's. Look at Gen's. Look at the hilt, the wrist blade, things like that. It's like just not the wrist blade, but the wrist guard and the hilt, things of that nature. So we see that's been debunked. His whole Zanpakuto, this right here is his sealed Zanpakuto. But when he first met Yachiru, we all seen it. The time he was older, he was an adult, he was just sitting there, and he had the Zanpakuto laying up against his shoulder, and we see Yachiru, she came up to the Zanpakuto, touching it, and he was like, oh, you're not afraid? Like, you know, she was playing with the blood and everything, and, you know, I'm thinking, okay, at that point, was that like just the first tiny sign of Nozarashi's spirit manifesting in his eyes? But yet, also, I remember he was fighting the spot at number 5, he referred to Zanpakuto as a he. But maybe he was just talking because back then he never even heard the voice. Because that was the first time he heard the voice when he fought Yachiru, you know, Urahara. That was the first time he heard the voice. So I think when he was referring to as when he was fighting number 5, I think he was just talking. But the first time he met Yachiru, if that is the spirit, maybe that's the first time the spirit actually manifests. Who knows? But the whole thing is, that means this whole time people could see her. Now other people can see other people's spirits. That has been proven in Bleach. And remember the time she jumped on Ichigo's shoulder? The way Ichigo reacted to that? You know, it's just so many things. But what kind of makes you think that she's not the spirit, she's able to go Shikai. However, she didn't have a command release. But at the same time, it is not far-fetched, and we've seen plenty of Bleach characters release Shikai without even saying the command release. You know, we've seen Byakuya do it plenty of times. But the funny thing is, she has a Shikai, but it's like, is this a Stark and Lil Net thing? It's like, I mean, it's so many things about it. We will know the full truth in the chapters to come. Because right now, it is a good guess, but I think it's still a little bit of questions and theories up in the air. Hell, his Bankai doesn't even have a name. It's an unnamed Bankai right now. But on to that, his Bankai, we see it's a transformation type. I really like it. He highly resembles a Oni. He reminds me of Oni Akuma, you know, or somebody that could be on, what's the name of that game? That Capcom game. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Damn. It was that Capcom game. The highly powerful character. Asura's Wrath, that's what it is. The design kind of reminded me of that a little bit. I mean, you see he got the red skin, he got the horns, the black markers on his face, the sharp teeth. It made perfect sense. It looked like his hair got longer, but it's more messed up. I love it. I bet some people are probably thinking like, oh, that's it. Increased strength, that's it. But what do you expect? We all know. The Bankai is like a souped up version of the Shikai. I mean, look at Nozarashi. Seemingly, it could cut through anything. Except, you know, Starlight M shield. But we see when you in Bankai, it was like just a super increase in strength. You see when Starlight M went to punch that motivator, he bit the knuckle. He stopped this fist by biting the knuckle and ripped his whole entire arm off. It was just beautiful. He jumped up with the slice. And you see Nozarashi. Looks like the hilt got longer. You see the blade part is cut in half. You know, like it's damaged. I mean, I don't know if that's just like the literally part of his Bankai or the fact that all that energy damages his Bankai. It's Zapato, which I don't think that's the case, but whatever. I'm loving it. He cut his other arm off, split his head down the middle, cut the shield in half also. And when he punched the motivator in the throat and knocked them over the edge, you see Toshiro panic, and we see he activate his Volt standing. The wings opened up. And the thing is, when he cut him straight in half, that's when I say, you know what, Kenpachi will always be one of my favorite captains. Always. Because of things like this. I mean, it's just, but, you know what I thought about? Seeing as how this is a sealed Zanpato, as much epicness as we've seen with Kenpachi's Bankai, Ichigo seemingly still has more Ryatsu. Now hear me out. Want to know why? Number one could say, well, duh, he's the main character. Some could say, well, he's a combination of everything in the series. Or some could say the fact that, this is Kenpachi's sealed Zanpato. This whole time we thought he was so strong, it was in this constant release. Nope. Still sealed. As Ichigo, never sealed. Those dual Zanpatos are his Shikai. He doesn't have two sealed Zanpatos. Oh no, they're still sealed. His amount of Ryatsu is that vast to where it's just constantly in a release state. But overall, these chapters, I love them. I loved all of them. I mean, so far, things are headed where I want them to be headed, and it's done very well. I'm so glad Kenpachi has a Bankai. However, I was still like, wait a minute, it has to be more to this. Because now we got motivators going Bankai without training. I mean, here it is. I thought you had to really train in the Bankai. I mean, that's what's good in Bleach now? Like, so what makes this so different with Kenpachi than everybody else? So is that a new thing in Bleach Naruto where you're getting ready to die or lose your Zanpakuto spirit? Is like, no, 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 no. No, if you die, I die. So let me give you Bankai. But here's the biggest shocker of it all. We haven't even seen the full extent of his Bankai. He needs to go and do the training. The same training Yachiru and Ichigo and Renji and Rukia had. Especially Renji and Ichigo. He needs to undergo that because that's the messed up thing about a Zanpakuto, man. You can do your Jinsen and understanding all you want. Look at Renji. He thought he had a good bond with Zabimaru. Ichibei was like, oh, let me tell you something. Guess what? He didn't tell you the whole name. I'm sorry. Renji was like, wait, what? All them battles we had? All the time I did Jinsen and talking to the physical manifestation going in my inner world and you let me know Bankai? He heals Zabimaru? I'm thinking like, yeah. You know, the Baboon King, I'm thinking like, damn. Kenpachi, he hasn't even maxed out his Bankai yet, so we still don't know the true full extent of Kenpachi's Bankai. It's a very scary thing if you ask me. So I'm gonna end it right here. After I think it's official that he's done or dead. He should be dead. Star Knight M. If he is good, I don't care about him. I was never impressed by Star Knight M at all. If he's dead, are they gonna head on to Juha? I would love to see Kenpachi and his Bankai take on Juha. I would love to see that more than Ichigo fighting Juha, I swear. But that's about it, Elites. Plate is cleared. Back on a good time schedule. It's good to be back. I really do hope you enjoyed this review. Give me your thoughts, comments, and concerns. Was his Bankai overwhelming or underwhelming? Do you think that Yachiru is his spirit or not? Let me know. It's me, Captain Visor Days. I will all see you next week on time with another Bleach review plus more videos. Thanks for watching. Sign it out.